So it's hump day, right? Wednesday. Um, so I want to talk about decision making today. And it's, it's like, okay, so how do we make decisions? There's always a concern about making the wrong choice. So what do most of us do when we make it? We've got a decision to make. We try and gather as much information as we can. And some of us like to keep gathering information and keep gathering information. And so that then becomes procrastination because, look, I got this dentist and this thing going on. Good Lord. Okay. Um, and so obviously that's not the way to make a decision. You will never have all of the information. And even if you did have all the information, those of you who keep seeking don't believe you have all the information. Okay. And it's obviously a good thing to put down pros and cons list. But what does a pros and cons list really do for you? All it does is attribute judgment to certain aspects of your decision. And as I have discussed in the past, judgment is really based on your history or, on historical things that you believe you remember and the outcome from those. And obviously that is a factor. If you made a decision at one point in time to jump off a bridge, and when you hit the water it hurt, okay, so that's an experience you can carry on to the next time you want to decide about jumping off the bridge. You know what I'm saying? If there's an event that you're deciding on that may be detrimental to your health, it's not necessarily something that you don't want to decide on doing again if there's an advantage to doing it, but you might have to consider, okay, so the last time it hurt, is there a way to do this where it's not going to hurt, or whether, I receive the benefit from that decision without the detriment, okay? Somebody just sent me a heart. Thank you so much. It looks like it might be Maddie. I don't see a name coming up, but that's okay. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining. So in decision making, when you look at successful business managers, CEOs of companies, of corporations that are, on the leading edge, and a lot of us call it the bleeding edge. And the reason we call it the bleeding edge, or the reason that it looks like it's such a difficult place to be, if we are going to make decisions that actually change our life for the better, if you look at corporations that or CEOs that run corporations that are changing the world, that are giving us things that make our lives so much better, they're willing to step out beyond what's considered normal or what's considered safe. Okay, so when you have a decision, just think of the whole concept of, okay, so I can rely on history and stay in my normal state, in my comfortable state, or I can choose to step out beyond that and go with my gut feeling and tell you what. I've talked several times about the whole concept of we have neurons in our brain that process from history. That's what this brain center does, is it processes our historical events and says, okay, so that hurt last time, don't do that this time. And then we have the heart center, where, you meet someone or you see something that is, it's in nature, that it's like, oh, wow, that really touches my heart. our natural reaction to babies. And babies, in the animal world and in the human world, it's like, oh, okay. And that's the heart neurons reacting to young life, okay? And then there's the gut feelings. And you have neurons in your gut as well. And they process from a physical state well-being. And so when you have a decision, you have all these facts, factoids, you have all this information, you have your due diligence, and something doesn't seem right. It's, your gut just, oh man, got to be cautious about that. Now, the big decision makers, the people in positions in large corporations, CEOs that are on the bleeding edge, tend to make snap decisions. They go with their gut, they go with their heart, and then they stand behind that decision. They figure out how to make that work, figure out an advantage to that decision, and roll that advantage out so that it's a bigger part of what's going on around them. So I'm not saying, ignore facts, but here's the thing. When you have a decision to make, a lot of us will go to friends, relatives, or whatever and ask advice. Sometimes we'll go to instructors, and say, okay, so this is a decision that I want to make. What do you think about it? Friends are your enemy. Their concept of what's good for you comes from either trying to protect you or trying to keep you at their status quo, keep you on their level. If you had come up with an idea that looks like it's going to project you beyond where they are, they're going to give you bad advice. Parental figures, relatives who you are trying to protect you, keep you safe, keep you in your little cocoon. That's not expansive for you. So you can, they'll give you the advice. So yes, thank you for sharing. And here's what my heart says. Here's what my gut says. Damn the torpedoes, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it work. Step out. Take a risk. And take the risk knowing that, hey, failure, it might be a big part of that decision. But failure is just a learning opportunity. Okay, so I made the decision. It didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out because I didn't have the facts that I now have. But I've learned something from it. So, if you're sitting there procrastinating about something, get off the couch. Just go for it. You'll thank yourself because you'll live a more exciting, a more vibrant life. You'll find the energy to make that work. And if it didn't work the way you initially thought it was going to work, you'll find a way to make it work better. Okay? Go with your gut, go with your heart. And, as long as you're doing the right thing, as long as you are, if your decision is about being in service to people, helping people, making yourself more expansive so that you can be a better person for the people around you. That's a decision it should be a no-brainer. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to stumble because that's part of life. That's part of the way we learn. That's part of our whole living experience. Yeah, the stumbling, Oh yeah, I tried to ride a bike and fell off. Oh, did I get back up again? Yeah, you bet I did. Okay. Don't be afraid to make those decisions. Yeah, okay, so there may be some ridicule. I told you that wasn't going to work. Well, it didn't work that way, but let me show you something else. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make it happen. It's going to be glorious. Make the decision. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, 7:15.